action this morning, and she had a really good run in Thursday's training. Last downhill podium came here in Zauchensee, where she was second in 2020, and this steep start is not for the faint-hearted, Emma.
No, isn't it just? And look at her go out that start gate. It literally is a free fall. What a fantastic drone shot we got there. And Nicole Dago, day before yesterday, second in that first training run. Remember, they've only had 2 inspections. Inspections about 45 minutes long, and they will have used every single minute of it with just 1 training run. It's really tough out there.
Nicole Dago getting airborne, getting rattled around by the hard surface underfoot. Just a few moments here to settle in. It gets a little flatter. Use the gliding skills and try to harness that speed as she hits the next jump. Artificially raise that one off the ground. Spectacular flight.
It really does have absolutely everything, this course, and she tried not to panic there. She came a little bit too close to the netting on the right side, but remember, downhill is all about that calm mind. If you get flustered, you make mistakes. You can't afford mistakes in downhill. Everything's coming at you so fast. The speeds are so high, and now she's in amongst the forest sort of area of big sweeping turns into the dark, and then another little jump, has to land on that right ski, and again making very quick decisions. Even though there's so much speed, so much time between the gates, downhill is about quick decisions but a calm mind.
Too fast for the camera there. Nicole Dago, the camera operator, just struggling to keep up with that 116.4 km/h speed that we saw from Nicole Dago. One more jump to negotiate, the Zielsprung, and she'll be home, and she sets the pace 1:46.81. So that, as is often the case, is quicker than anything we saw in training. The fastest time from Nicole's teammate Federica Brignone, who was quickest in training, was 1:47.32. Nicole Dago has gone quicker, 1 minute 46.81 seconds, and she set the second fastest time in training. We'll see if she can translate that into a result on race day this morning.
Beautiful flight there, really trying to stay in that touch, just momentarily opening up before she lands.
These are the scenes at the top as athletes take their time to watch previous races on their phones or on the monitor that's in that start area. And next to ski is Isabella Wright, who had her best ever downhill result at the World Cup Finals in Soldeu in Andorra last March. Isabella Wright, the 26-year-old American. In the absence of Mikaela Shiffrin, the Americans will be looking for some results from some of their lesser-known stars. Shiffrin has opted out. She was due to be here. She doesn't always do the downhills and Super Gs, but opted out because of that cold she was nursing in Kranjska Gora. Let's join Isabella Wright. Starting intervals 2 minutes and 40. So we'll see pretty much everything from each athlete to start things this morning.
Well, Isabella, you could see very slightly on the inside edges on her tuck. Remember, tucking is all about getting the ski to swim across the snow. But when you have such high speeds like you do at the top, straight out that start gate, it's very difficult to let that ski swim. And I feel that she was just a little bit on the inside edges again. You can see the knees just coming in fractionally. That's not ideal. You've got to try to get the ski as flat as possible.
0.32, a little off balance on that jump. Landed left foot first, followed by the right foot, but immediately got back to work, carving up the ground here on this spectacular Kelberlock course in Zauchensee, just along the road from the town of Altenmarkt. 0.27, closing the gap on Nicole Dago, who was first to ski. Spectacular effort here from Isabella Wright, the American, making her 48th World Cup start today. Oh, a little back-seated there. By this stage, on a long downhill run, her thighs will be on fire, but she needs a little bit of energy to control the skis for the run into home and the final jump. Not much air time there. Isabella Wright goes second. Loses a lot of time on the lower third. 1.11 off the pace of Nicole Dago.
Yeah, just a couple of mistakes on the bottom section. That over the sort of where she got light on the right foot, had to readjust her line, didn't quite come in with the right direction. And then we see maybe it's this turn here where we see No, it's not. But they're further down right before the finish, just when the legs were burning, she couldn't hold a clean line. Now this is the one I was talking about, I think. Yes, she had to put them sideways there because she came over that blind roller and not quite with the right line.
Nicole Dago leads for Italy. 1 minute 46.81 seconds. Next to ski, the first of the Swiss, will be Priska Nufer. Nufer lined up at the start. Has one downhill World Cup victory to her name. That came on home snow in Crans-Montana, where they will be racing later this season. That's her one and only World Cup triumph as she comes steaming down that top section. The Startschuss is the steepest part of the track. Then they move on to the Gampsveld, past the Super G start, which was used yesterday and will be used again tomorrow. The first of the big jumps is called Hot Air, and that's coming up just after this sweeping right-footed turn. The Hot Air jump takes them sunshine to shade and back into sunshine. So far, pretty good for Priska Nufer wearing number 3.
Yeah, excellent skiing, but you can see ever so slight changes underfoot where it's a little bit shiny, just a little bit icier, and then goes to lovely grippy snow, but really fantastic conditions here. This is a very flat section of the course as she really tries to keep that contact. You have to be so light and soft underfoot. It's literally like you're floating, opening up just a little bit off that jump, and a hard landing we could hear there.
Now into the forested part of the course, so she's below the tree line on this part of the track and not far away, 0.17. Nufer giving herself every chance, throwing everything at this downhill performance so far.
And she too, just a little bit off the ideal line on that landing, same as Isabella Wright before her, had to adjust her line. Now let's remember that everybody will be watching at the top, getting an idea of how it's running today, and that section for me is key. You've got to come with a little bit more direction.
So down towards the finish now. Nicole Dago's lead is 1:46.81. Priska Nufer goes second. The top two separated by 3/4 of a second. Plenty of people out and about watching the race this morning. We had 3,500. We're expecting it to be closer to 5,000 spectators today. This was Priska Nufer flying high and long and then wrapping her ski poles, which are shaped around her body. Disappointing start for Priska Nufer, but they have greater talents to come. They've got the Olympic champion, Corinne Suter, starting with 10. Lara Gut-Behrami, who's won here in the past, will start with 14. All sorts of chances for the Swiss today. Now the first of the French, Lara Gauche. One downhill World Cup podium in Lara Gauche's career. Throws herself out of the start. Bit of a headwind there. Those control gates, the first set of control gates, just getting bent slightly, but she should come out of the breeze. That start is on the most exposed part of the course, high on the rock at 2,500 plus nearly 2,500 meters at the top of the Kelberlock course. She comes down out of the wind, and it should be pretty much breeze-free from here on in for Lara Gauche of France.
Oh, she had to put the skis hard on the edges there. Oh, and twisted up a little bit of this jump. These jumps are huge. There's really flying about 25, 30 meters. And on the lower one, even more than that. They're just getting a little bit twisted up, settles back down into the tuck, beautiful tuck position, head down low, just looking out the top of the goggles. If you put your head up, then you have what we call a rabbit tuck. You don't want that. You've got to get that head down. You've got to get those knees, those elbows right down in by the knees, hands in front of the face. And there she goes over the jump and puts her hands towards her feet. That's just to help to keep the chest down. You don't want the air to get under the skis off the jump. That sends you into the back seat.
Lara Gauche in good shape so far, and only a third of a second off the pace of the first skier on the hill, who still leads, Nicole Dago. To give you an idea of where the favourites are coming, Weidle starts with 6, Brignone at 7, Goggia at 8, world champion Jasmine Flury 9, Olympic champion follows with bib number 10, Lara Gut-Behrami goes with bib number 14. We'll also keep an eye out for yesterday's winner, Connie Huetter, who starts with bib number 11 today. Lara Gauche will not challenge Nicole Dago's lead. trails by 0.66. Good enough for second position for the moment. But it's Nicole Dago who was first to ski the mountain this morning, out in front at the top of the Kelberloch leaderboard here in Zauchensee.
Well, there's a real tricky gate that you probably picked up on right towards the bottom. The legs are burning. You're about 135 into the course, so a lot of energy already spent, and they seem to be getting late and bounced around on that left foot.
Sofia Goggia has 23 World Cup victories, has won the downhill World Cup title on no fewer than 4 occasions. Now, that headwind is a bit of an issue up here. They're skiing straight out into the teeth of that headwind, and Ragnhild Mowinckel is skating and stabbing with her ski poles, trying to counteract the effects of the wind into which she skis. Straight up to 114 kilometres per hour, and got there within about 7 seconds of acceleration straight out of the start. And we can chase the Norwegian down with the drone now. Ragnhild Mowinckel, 9th in the San Moritz Super G, the best result she's been able to muster so far this season, but this course could suit her. She was 7th fastest in training. Oh, massive jump.
Huge jump, and she was very, very clean on the top, but I feel she was just skiing a little bit further than she had to. I don't know about you, Matt, but I absolutely love that drone shot. It's incredible. It's like the drone is struggling to keep up with them.
That's the Jaeger sprung, that second jump with the Zauchensee logo across the lower part of that artificially raised jump, and Mowinckel straight off into the glide now.
Mowinckel with her arms just a little bit out. Look carefully at her elbows. They seem to be out a little bit. She needs to get them tucked in. There's too much to think about. But on the flat sections of this course, if those elbows are out just a fraction, it's like having your hand or your finger even out the window of the car when you're going at 120 kilometres an hour. That's going to be a little costly. She needs to bring those elbows in and get a little bit more aerodynamic. That's sometimes, body language is sometimes just maybe showing that she's a little bit hesitant.
15th in yesterday's Super G, held on the lower 2/3 of this course. Lots of recreational skiers out at the side of the track watching the race unfold. The majority of them, of course, will be hoping for an Austrian success, which they enjoyed yesterday when Connie Huetter took the victory. Ragnhild Mowinckel will be a long way behind here. She has skied into 5th position. Nicole Dago, who started with bib number 1, still leads the way here. Lara Gut-Behrami for France is 2nd. Priska Nufer holds 3rd. Next to ski, the German, Kira Weidle.
Huge flight from Mowinckel there. And what a fantastic shot that is from right underneath the jump. You can just see how far, that must be 40 metres they're flying.
A little frustration for the Norwegian coach. Kaiser Vickhoff Lie will come later. She was on the podium in yesterday's Super G. Now the German, the top German potentially, although Emma Eicher's been making some inroads this season. Kira Weidle has on no fewer than 6 occasions made the World Cup downhill podium, including once here back in 2022, the last time they raced a World Cup downhill, a race that was won by Lara Gut-Behrami. She was joined on the podium by Kira Weidle. She's had mixed fortune so far this season. 14th in yesterday's Super G. Made the top 10 in the San Moritz downhill, finishing in 9th position there. But she needs to start getting closer to the podium. In her pre-race interview today, she said she wasn't interested in the result today. It was all about getting the best out of her own skiing, all a little back-seated there. Looks a little cautious, Emma.
A little cautious, but lovely and soft underfoot, Matt. And but yeah, you can see she's a little higher with the chest. She's not quite as dynamic as some of the races before her. So a little bit hesitant after her crash 2 days ago. Just looking to put down the best skiing that she can possibly do today. And every day is different. Every racer. Oh, wow. Here we go, Matt. 500s. And she's found that beautiful soft touch. So if she can get that chest a little bit lower, then she could be in for a good one here.
Yeah, Kira Weidle didn't finish the only training run that was held here on Thursday. The fact that she started and she's raced here before gives her the right to compete on race day, and she's certainly turning on the style on the lower half. Kira Weidle gets the green light, and at last there's a threat to Nicole Dago's lead. The German has found her touch on this Zauchensee downhill track so far. Next intermediate coming with the red line across the snow. This time she clocks 119 kilometres per hour. No one's been quicker in a straight line than Kira Weidle, but it's all about the time across the line. How close will she go? Oh, second. 0.12. Kira Weidle misses it by a fraction. Nicole Dago leads. Kira Weidle 12 hundredths behind in second. Lara Gauche drops to third. Next to ski, the two Italians, Federica Brignone, who was fastest in training, followed by Sofia Goggia, who was third quickest in Thursday's practice run. The race could be decided within the next 3 minutes, with the two Italians both on fabulous form so far this season, although Goggia's never had much luck here in Zauchensee. German coach is happy with that. Dago even happier because she doesn't have to move from that leader's chair for the moment. Nicole Dago still leading the way. Next to ski, Federica Brignone, the 33-year-old Italian, the most successful World Cup alpine skier that Italy's ever produced, with 24 World Cup wins. I'm talking about within the women's side, of course. There are plenty of others who have had more success on the men's side, but Brignone is their most successful female athlete. The breeze seems to be creeping down the mountainside. Brignone, what an angle there. Goodness me, she's committed to this slope, having a real go here. Set the fastest time in training on Thursday, 1 minute 47.32. Brignone taking all sorts of chances.
Oh, goodness me. Yeah, she doesn't actually have me sitting on the edge of my seat very often, but I certainly am right now. But Brignone coming into this race with so much confidence. And when she does make a little mistake, she corrects it and doesn't lose too much speed because she's so light underfoot. She's got that amazing soft touch. She literally floats almost down the hill, a little bit off the line there. 0.53 back. She's got work to do. She needs to look for that lower tuck, a little bit high off the jump as well. Had fastest in training 2 days ago, so loves this track, enjoys this track, but to me she's just a little bit too much in the upright position and could do with looking for that more dynamic position.
Brignone won the combined here in 2020, won the Super G here in 2022. She's never had a downhill win anywhere. She'd love one. She's been so close on so many occasions. I think she's too far away here though. 0.85. I think her teammate Nicole Dago is once again safe out in front, despite Brignone going joint fastest through sector 4. Approaching the Zielsprung now. Federica Brignone tucks in for the line and goes fifth. More than a second off the pace. The Italians will look elsewhere. Shake of the head from Brignone, not what she came for. Her teammate Nicole Dago still out in front.
I think that top jump actually sort of shook her up a little bit. She looked like she couldn't quite get into it afterwards and was a little bit nervy. This is her landing on that right foot, having to make that correction quickly, and that was a reaction from Nicole Dago in the finish, and she got bounced around on that left footer coming down towards the bottom. It's really tough. It's bumpy now on the left foot because it really swings from left to right, and there's a lot of pressure going through that right ski.
There's Lara Gut-Behrami. She'll be starting a little later. Nicole Dago still leading the way. Nicole Dago has never had a World Cup win. She's had a couple of second places. Sofia Goggia's had plenty, though. 23 World Cup victories, but she's always drawn a blank here in Zauchensee. However, with that third fastest time in training and Goggia really hungry for success, this could be the run that wins in Zauchensee on downhill day as we follow the great Sofia Goggia, the 2018 Olympic downhill champion, down the track, shadowing her via the drone. Looks like a lively start from Sofia Goggia. First split, and she's right in touch here. Only 800ths off the pace.
Oh, so aggressive off that jump as well. Landed a little bit hard, but straight back into the tuck, and nobody has a better tuck than Goggia. Look at that, head down, poles tucked right in, elbows right in, stays in the tuck. Very, very dynamic, very aggressive. You can see from the body language, she is really after it, and that's all we know. That's all Goggia knows, and that's all we expect from her. And look at that, almost 3/10 up now.
Goggia's got the measure of this mountain this morning, and she is in full attack mode, just grappling for full control of her left ski pole there. Just lost the grip, but she's back in total control of all her hardware now and building her lead. 0.45. Goggia jams them sideways, has to adjust, skis out of the blue racing lane. She's taken a slightly unusual line, but didn't seem to lose too much speed. Now that mistake might cost her a tenth, but I think there might just still be enough in stock here for Sofia Goggia to go close to the lead. Yes, it has cost her exactly that, a tenth of a second. Still the green light on for the 31-year-old Italian. Sofia Goggia has never won in Zauchensee, but she leads this morning by 0.34. Goggia back to her brilliant best. Will that be good enough to win this downhill in Zauchensee this morning?
Oh, Matt, I think it maybe just could be, but never say never. And what an exciting run. I mean, there were a couple of edge changes on the bottom that were lightning quick. And she recovered so well at a couple of times, but boy, was it good. And then on that left footer on the bottom, where we've seen so many getting bounced around there, with quick edge change there, quick reactions. And on that bottom section, left footer, she didn't get bounced around at all. What a run that was.
It was a wild ride from Sofia Goggia, and she leads the way. Jasmine Flury, winner already this season in World Cup competition. She won on the 16th of December in Val d'Isère, approaching the bottom of the steepest part of the course. Rapid acceleration up to 115 kilometres per hour. Now Flury, of course, at 30, has made a big equipment change onto Kessley skis, so she won the World Championship gold in Maribel last winter, and then made the equipment switch, which raised a few eyebrows, but it's worked out well for her because she's got her first World Cup win in Val d'Isère. French snow has been kind to Jasmine Flury during the last 12 months. 0.41 off the pace of Sofia Goggia. We have an Italian 1-2 at the moment in Zauchensee. Goggia leads, Dago second, Weidle holding third.
Well, it's going to take something pretty spectacular for anybody to knock Goggia off top spot. And Flury just putting them ever so slightly sideways on one of the big turns at the top, and that's costly. It's not just costly there on that one part, but it sort of translates to over the next 500, 600, 700 meters. Difficult to get that speed back. And now coming in through the big sweeping turns, it's dark under here, but the underfoot, it is beautiful. But she is losing time all the way, a little bit upright, arms a little bit wide at times. Nothing major, just not looking nearly as dynamic and as clean on the line as Goggia was.
Jasmine Flury went okay in training on Thursday, but this is more than a second. She's actually set the fastest time in sector number 4, but only by 0.05 of a second. Not enough to close the gap on Sofia Goggia. I think the top 4 places are probably safe, as Jasmine Flury in the end goes into 6th position. Disappears behind that cloud of snow. Sofia Goggia started with bib number 8, leads the way in Zauchensee this morning, with teammate Nicole Dago, who was first down the mountain, holding second, and the German Weidle is third. Next to go, the Olympic downhill champion, Corinne Suter. Then yesterday's winner, Connie Huetter. Then Haehlen, Puchner, Gut-Behrami and Stuhec. There's a wealth of talent coming right up here. But right now, it's Sofia Goggia who is occupying the leader's throne. Number 10. Olympic downhill champion, the 29-year-old who won here in downhill back in 2020. This is Corinne Suter. Corinne Suter flies out of the start, comes diving down with that wide stance. A skiing shape she's perfected in the wind tunnel, looking for the most efficient anti-drag shape through the wind, and it's not a totally tidy start from Corinne Suter, but we'll see how she rates against Goggia on the clock when the intermediate times start to flash up.
Well, it's a very aggressive line that she's taken up there, and she did have to put the edges in pretty hard to make sure she made that gate in a couple. But as you've said, Matt, what a tuck she has. Look at that. There is nothing wrong with this tuck here. Wide stance, really uses the base. Remember, the base is faster than the edges, so it's slalom skiing, giant slalom skiing. It's more about using the edges, but in downhill, you've got to have that swimming underfoot. Oh, just losing a little bit now. Maybe from that mistake she made with the line and then having to readjust. That carries on down, and she hasn't found the speed yet. She hasn't reclaimed the speed she's looking for.
5 World Cup downhill wins, but she's very much the skier for the big occasion. In the 2019 World Championship, she was a silver medalist, won gold in 2021. A year later, she took the Olympic title in Beijing. And last year at the World Championship, she added another bronze in that downhill race that was won by her teammate Jasmine Flury. But this has not been a great season, and there's a DNF for Corinne Suter, who's yet to find her best skiing so far in this World Cup only season. There's no major championships to punctuate the season in February. 3 out of 4 there are, but this is the 1 in 4 where there's no Olympics or World Championships. So Corinne Suter will rely on World Cup races, and so far the best she's been able to manage in downhill was a 9th in Val d'Isère. No finish today.
Now that's that gate that we've been talking about, the one on the left foot where the pressure is so great and the legs are burning. And she was just a little bit offline. She was already offline slightly a few gates before. And although in downhill these gates are so far apart, because of the speed, if you're on the wrong line, there's very little room for recovery.
All Austrian eyes now on the top of the course here in Zauchensee. Yesterday, 31-year-old Connie Huetter won her 5th World Cup race on home snow in Friday's Super G here. She's 3rd in the downhill standings on 110 points. She comes steaming down the top part of the course. A fiery start from Connie Huetter, who's been so consistent this season. Winner in yesterday's Super G. She's been on the podium in San Moritz. She was on the podium in the Val d'Isère downhill as well. Bit of wind just affecting her concentration at the top of the track. The wind seems to be just increasing slightly. Where's Huetter? There she is. Wrong camera angle. And now we find her a little back-seated, a little further down, 0.31 off the pace.
Now she'll be coming down to the section she'll enjoy more, the sweeping turns, a little bit more like the Super G turns. Not maybe quite so happy in the tuck on the flat sections, not so happy with the gliding. A little bit narrower in the stance, certainly narrower than the likes of Goggia and Suter before her. Yeah, so 0.91, she's got work to do, but as I said, she's coming into the section that she'll start to enjoy the slightly more technical turns. She's very good through this part, very clean now, but you can see she hasn't quite got the same speed.
1:12.82 for Gauche. The gap is considerable, 1.19 seconds, so we're going to see if she's lucky. A top 8 performance for Connie Huetter. 3 days of racing here in Zauchensee. Of course, we had an extra Super G yesterday. Huetter won that. She'll be back for a chance to win another one tomorrow because there's a Super G on Sunday as well. Lots of noise for Connie Huetter. The Austrians still have chances. Mirjam Puchner starts at 13, and there are others with eyes on the prize, including Christine Scheier, who won here in the past. Can she use that local knowledge to good effect a little later? For the moment, Connie Huetter just squeezes into the top 8 this morning. There's a mum watching, happy with the result yesterday, less successful on downhill day. Sofia Goggia leads an Italian 1-2 here in Zauchensee. Nicole Dago is 2nd. Kira Weidle, top, the best of the Germans, the only German to race so far, in fact, in 3rd. Ahead of Lara Gut-Behrami of France. Priska Nufer is 5th. Next to ski, Joana Haehlen, who had a great result in Val d'Isère, and then Mirjam Puchner, and Lara Gut-Behrami will follow with number 14. And there she is, with 12 downhill victories amongst her 39 in total. One of the big stars of Swiss sport, keeping herself as warm as she can in the bitter temperatures at the top of this Zauchensee Kelberlock course. Next to ski, the powerful Swiss, Joana Haehlen, fresh off the back of excellent results at the start of the season. Runner-up in the Val d'Isère downhill, 6th in the Val d'Isère Super G. Top 10 again here yesterday in Friday's Super G. The 31-year-old Swiss had a good showing in Thursday's training. Can she translate that into a result on race day now?
She takes a slightly straighter line and she's getting herself as small as possible. But just, half a second, that straight line wasn't possibly the best one on that top. Might have been better just to take a little bit wider and be a little bit cleaner. You don't want to put them sideways. Not at all, not on this downhill. You've got to keep that speed. You've got to search for speed. Good jump, soft landing, back into the tuck. A little bit high with the head, I'd say. Could do with getting that a little bit lower. Try to look at the top of the goggles more.
Nearly a full second off the pace. We'll be looking elsewhere for a serious challenge to Sofia Goggia's lead. It won't come from Joana Haehlen, but with the next three all in contention. Mirjam Puchner will be next, fourth fastest in training. Then Lara Gut-Behrami, who's won here in the past, sixth quickest in Thursday's practice run. And then the double world champion Ilka Stuhec will start with bib number 15. And at 19, Vickhoff Lie, who made the podium in Friday's Super G, and at 20, Ester Ledecka, the skiing snowboarder, who's chosen her downhill skis this weekend over her snowboard for competition. Joana Haehlen down towards the finish now. Majority of the track now in shade, just the end of the finish area bathed in sunshine, which she enters in 10th position, 1.62 seconds off the pace. Not what she wanted.
Now, if you listen carefully, you could actually hear her skis. She was just a little bit too hard, I would say, the whole way down. A little bit too hard, and sometimes just turning those skis minutely sideways, but it's very costly. And again here, another one who's not quite in the ideal line coming over that roller. Had to react very quickly to make sure she stayed on her feet.
The next chance for Austria, starting with bib number 13, Mirjam Puchner. Very experienced, 135th World Cup start today. 8th in the Olympic downhill 2022. Took the silver in the Olympic Super G in that year as well. Just missed a medal, equal fourth at last season's World Championships in Maribel. Will chase her down on the drone rapidly, building up speed in a matter of just a handful of seconds, up to 116 kilometers per hour.
There's that big right-hander there, double gate. Oh, and there's a lot of snow coming up off her skis. It's real tricky, this section, actually, because you're coming with so much speed and you have to react very quickly. Oh, she's got the green light, but only just gets a little bit bounced around. But again, she's another one with this lovely soft touch, big tall athlete, but searching for that low dynamic position, searching for those skis to swim on their bases.
Mirjam Puchner finished 7th, promising result in yesterday's Super G, and set the 4th fastest time in the one training run on Thursday. And the Austrians are starting to pay attention here, because Puchner has laid one down so far. Nothing much wrong with this, and she's hot on the heels of Sofia Goggia, only a 10th of a second down. If she can find a way to finish with a flourish, then she could give the Austrians a double. They got the win with Cornelia Huetter on day one. Can Mirjam Puchner bring them success on this downhill Saturday? The crowd's lining the side of the course, out for a ski on this Saturday morning in Zauchensee, are hoping, but it's got away from her slightly now. Potentially good enough for a podium place provisionally. It will be 2nd, 3rd or 4th for Puchner, and she's 2nd in the end. 0.34. Puchner delights the Austrian fans. Relief for Sofia Goggia. Puchner came seriously close there, and she's tied for 2nd with exactly the same time as Nicole Dago.
What a superb run, absolutely fantastic. Really took it on right from the top. Just on the bottom section, she skied a little bit more conservatively than Goggia, I would say. Just, not quite as aggressive with the line, but nobody can be as aggressive as Goggia's line at the bottom.
Yeah, Goggia, actually, you could see her just lean over and and tap Nicole Dago on the sleeve just to say, it's okay, you're tied for second. I think Dago thought for a moment she'd been pushed down to third, but they're level. Now, Lara Gut-Behrami may well have something to say about the current standings here in Zauchensee. She is flying at the top. 115 kilometres per hour in about 9 seconds for Lara Gut-Behrami, who's won here in the past, likes this course, 6th fastest in Thursday's training, and these are low, aggressive, meaningful turns. She means business this morning, Lara Gut-Behrami. You can just tell by her stance over the skis that she's getting hold of this, and look at that, green light on early on for Gut-Behrami of Switzerland.
Well, this is spectacular stuff. I mean, we know this lady has it all going on, and this is incredible. She has put nothing. She's done nothing wrong on this top section so far, pulling on all her experience, her gliding skills, her technical skills. Mentally, she's in such a good place right now. Just gone the wrong side of the clock at the moment. But she's going to bring that speed now into the technical section. And if anyone can knock Goggia off top spot, it could be Lara Gut.
Lara Gut-Behrami won the Super G here in 2011. Won the downhill 11 years later in 2022. Today, incredibly, is her 355th World Cup start. That has yielded her 39 wins and 80 podium places, and she's looking at another potential podium here. The top three, Goggia, Puchner and Dago, separated by 0.34, and Gut is going well enough to get in amongst the podium places. Lara Gut-Behrami has had a storming run in Zauchensee. How close could she go? Oh, in the end it's 5th. 0.62, somewhere between that final intermediate and the finish line, she lost 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, that was difficult to see, wasn't it, Matt? I didn't see that right at the bottom, I have to be honest.
Goggia still leads. The tie for second remains. Mirjam Puchner and Nicole Dago sharing second position. Kira Weidle pushed down to 4th. Lara Gut-Behrami has just skied into 5th position. Yeah, frustrating finish for the Swiss coaches and officials, and for Lara. She'll see the splits on the screen and realise how close she came. Last of the first 15 down the mountain this morning. Ilka Stuhec, 7 World Cup downhill victories for Stuhec and 2 World Championship golds in this discipline. But, as she said in her pre-race interview, she's got a bit of a love-hate relationship with this course. She likes it, she said, but it doesn't like her, and she's never really enjoyed any serious success here. Let's see if that will change on this first downhill race of the new year.
She looked a little hesitant.
Yeah.
No, hesitant, wasn't she, coming into that section there, Matt? Yeah, it's just a very, very upright, putting them sideways. 6/10 back, that was going to be pretty obvious, I think, for anybody watching through that section. Let's hope she can start to find a little bit more confidence now as she settles down into this flat section, comes up to the jump, and good flight, tucks the hands right underneath her backside, underneath her thighs, really looking to help keep that chest down. As soon as you come up with the chest on the jump, you're going to end up catching air, and then you could risk going into the back seat. A little bit harsh off on the landing off that second jump as well.
7/10 off the pace. 41st in yesterday's Super G. Her best result came in Val d'Isère on the 16th of December. Best result of the season was she placed in 5th position, and will not be replicating that today. She may struggle to break the top 10 here this morning, Ilka Stuhec.
She's high and out of trouble through that, didn't get bounced around through that left footer there, but a little bit too high. You've got to let it run a little bit more through that section.
Down towards the Steelsprung now, and the run towards the line. 1:46.47 has already ticked by, and Ilka Stuhec skis into 9th position for Slovenia. Best of the Slovenian speed skiers, just scrapes into the top 10. Well, it's been a lively race with Sofia Goggia potentially on her way to securing her first downhill win of the season. She leads, joint second position held by Mirjam Puchner of Austria, and on the right of your screen there, Nicole Dago from Italy. Weidle fourth, Lara Gut-Behrami fifth, then Gauche, Priska Nufer. Jasmine Flury is next, then Ilka Stuhec and Federica Brignone, who was fastest in training, but he's 10th on race day. Then yesterday's winner, followed by Isabella Wright, Joana Haehlen, and the one DNF is Corinne Suter, but there was nothing sinister about the way she skied out of the track. A reminder of our podium places provisionally here in Zauchensee. Joint second, the Italian who was first down the hill, Nicole Dago, who set the second fastest time in training. Mirjam Puchner joining her in joint second position. Only 0.34 off the pace of the great Sofia Goggia, who has lit up this downhill race this morning with another run of classic Goggia. Daring and abandon. 0.34, I beg your pardon, her lead to the next on the leaderboard as Michelle Gisin gets ready to go at the top of the course. She has another 30-second wait. Welcome back to viewers on Eurosport TV. Sofia Goggia leads, Mirjam Puchner and Nicole Dago tied for second. Next to race, number 16, Michelle Gisin, who had her last World Cup downhill podium here in 2020. So a good downhill course historically for Michelle Gisin. Let's see if the wind has just eased off, perhaps to make life slightly easier for her at the top of the track. We'll follow her on the drone for the first few turns.
I've really been enjoying watching Michelle gather momentum in slalom, and what an achievement to be able to ski at this level in all disciplines. That really is quite something. Training for one or two disciplines is hard enough, but to be able to do all four is incredible. And she's got the green light and a huge flight. Not quite the ideal line, but she didn't panic. She was very, very calm, landed softly, and we know that Michelle has such a soft touch underfoot. Let's see how that plays out now coming up to the next split.
That's the Jägersprung. She flew long and left off hot air. Jägersprung was a jump of greater control, but for the first time the red light comes on, but not by much, only a quarter of a second off the pace. Good work so far from Michelle Gisin. Down into the forested area of the track, below the tree line now, but it's shaded pretty much from here towards the finish. 0.38, room in the top five here for Michelle Gisin this morning.
Oh, and a quick and heavy edge change there. Hard on that right foot now. The legs are burning. Got to stay super focused. Coming up to the bumpy section on the left foot. So lets the skis run well. But I think she's going to go in behind Goggia. Let's see. Yeah, just slipping the wrong side now.
0.57 with the top five separated by slightly more than that. 62 hundredths chance of a top five or top six. It's sixth position for Michelle Gisin. Good performance, 7/10 off the pace. I think she'll be happy with that. If it stays in the top 10, it will be her second top 10 downhill result of the season. She was 8th in St. Moritz, then she's had a 5th in the Val d'Isère Super G, in 4 top 10 results, including a podium in slalom.
That jump seemed to go on forever, and she had to widen the windows as she desperately tried to stay over the middle of the skis. That's a nice view as well. She grabs behind her thighs, trying to keep us aerodynamic off that jump, not opening up.
Lara Gut-Behrami still the best of the Swiss in 5th. Michelle Gisin just behind her now in 6th spot. Stephanie Venier next of the Austrian racers this morning. Now, Stephanie Venier looked pretty good in training. Let's see how she deals with this downhill day. She started the weekend racing pretty well. 8th position in yesterday's Super G. She was 7th in the St. Moritz downhill. A promising start to her downhill season so far. 18 hundredths off the pace. Nice flight faultless flight there from Stephanie Venier.
Very dynamic, and what a position. The line has been pretty spot on so far. Nice and smooth and clean. And she's taken the green light 400s, right side of the clock. Can she keep it through here? Remember, Goggia was so strong, aggressive, dynamic, but smooth on the edge and still good so far from the Austrian.
Stephanie Venier having a real crack at this home downhill this morning, and the crowd are paying full attention once again. Only 900ths off the pace of Goggia. The speed is good as well. Stephanie Venier has one downhill win to her name. That was back in 2019 at Garmisch-Partenkirchen. Can she spring a surprise? Oh, that's close. Stephanie Venier skis into second spot, missing the lead by a tenth of a second. Delight for Venier and the Austrian fans. There's a tie for third now with Puchner and Dago. Venier has skied into second. Relief for Goggia. The lead is still hers, but only just.
Oh, what a ski that was. Didn't put a foot wrong.
Puchner there, and the other Austrian team members, Niki Schmidhofer, third from the right there, who's retired but did the camera run this morning, all joining in the celebration for Stephanie Venier. Podium place provisionally for the Austrian. Laura Pirovano for Italy starts next with number 18. Cracking race so far, this one. Zauchensee does tend to produce these tight races where the lead is under threat, where the top 5 positions chop and change all the time, and it hasn't let us down today.
Oh, and conditions, Matt, just couldn't be better, could they? I mean, look at the stunning view we've got. I know we've got our eyes all on the athlete, but if you look behind at times, those mountains are just stunning. Conditions beautiful, super cold, just like it should be in January. Oh, and Pirovano just a little bit off the line there, having to adjust. Hence we see her now trailing by 6.3. Oh, it's wild over that jump. She gets momentarily light and then has to make a very quick edge change. That's where Goggia was so good.
Finished in the points yesterday in the Super G in 24th position. Super G's been her better discipline so far this season. Starting intervals now 2 minutes. 0.95. Now with the top 10 separated by 1.17, there's a chance for Lara Pirovano to get her best downhill result of the season, 12th. That's okay, 1.26 seconds off the pace. The Italians in first with Sofia Goggia, in joint third with Nicole Dago, and now in 12th position with Lara Pirovano.
Oh, that's so tricky. It really drops away on the right side, and it's, momentarily you literally have no view at all, and then you have to react, and she was just a little bit off that ideal line there.
Kajsa Vickhoff Lie for Norway on the podium yesterday, the runner-up to Cornelia Huetter on day one. Can she produce something tasty this morning and shake things up? It looks like an attacking start from the Norwegian. 0.58, massive jump. Oh no! No, she's down and into the netting. Kajsa Vickhoff Lie suffers a big crash, sits straight up again. That's a good sign. She's conscious and she's trying to untangle herself. And last time I saw her crash, Val di Fassa, 3 or 4 years ago, 2021 in fact, there was a piercing scream. She was helicoptered off the hill with a broken tibia and fibula and was out of racing for 644 days. I'm not as worried today as I was on that day. I think the fact that she was starting to wriggle away from the safety netting was possibly a good sign.
I mean, I don't know about you, Matt, but I look just like these women on your screen right now. I just can't stand watching a downhill crash. I really can't. I might just go and get a cup of tea for a few minutes.
With a couple of sugars, possibly.
Yes.
Strong and sweet. No, the news is okay. I mean, I'm not going to make any diagnosis. She's clearly shaken. She's undone the clips on her left boot. Kajsa Vickhoff Lie is conscious and standing, and hopefully, I keep fingers crossed, touch wood, toccaferro as they say in Italy, hopefully she will be able to to come back and race again tomorrow.
I mean, she's definitely shooken up.
No, she said, I just heard her say, the Norwegian coach just said no helicopter. She said, no, I'm fine. So that's good. That's promising.
Good.
Runner-up yesterday.
She was living dangerously up the top, but wasn't she, Matt? She was leaning right in. The outside ski was bouncing around on a couple of times. Let's maybe, we might get a replay of that, of what did actually go wrong there, but she was certainly living dangerously in a couple of turns before she had the crash. But just so good to see her standing up, so good.
Let's see it again. Here's the crash from Kaiser Vickhoff Lie. She was way off to skier's left on this jump, landed back-seated. Look at that. She got her arms, she got her knees up into her face as well, and then it was a case of spinning. She did 3 or 4 360s. That slowed her down, and the impact when she got to the safety netting was a little less.
Oh, it was a nasty crash, Matt.
Yeah, it was.
She's really lucky, actually, really incredibly lucky. It all went wrong, didn't it, just on the landing, but then unfortunately she got her tails caught. The skis got caught together, and that was my reaction too. Yeah, well, everybody knows what happened to Kaiser last time she had a big racing crash. Kaiser Vickhoff Lie back on her skis, reunited with all her hardware. She will, I'm sure, be shaken and bruised, but she's smiling on her way down the track now. There will be a slight interruption while the safety netting is repaired. They won't allow the next racer on the course until the safety netting is back as it should be. Kaiser Vickhoff Lie, who was on the podium yesterday, will get a huge round of applause when she gets to the foot of the mountain. Relief for Ragnhild Mowinckel, who's just wiping away a tear there because those two are pretty close. The Norwegian team will be absolutely delighted that she's okay. Ester Ledecka has been asked to hold for a while now. She'll be starting with bib number 20 today. It's bad enough when you have a hold in the technical disciplines, but when there's a hold in the speed and you know somebody's crashed, it's just a little bit unnerving for the next racer. Just a reminder of the top places here because it's been changing rapidly. Sofia Goggia has held the lead for a while since she came down with bib number 8. Then we had a change when Stephanie Venier skied into second position with 17. A tie for third, the Austrian Mirjam Puchner with bib 13, and the Italian Nicole Dago, who was first on the mountain this morning. Joint third, those two, separated. Can't separate them, they are 0.34 behind Sofia Goggia. A tenth between first and second, 0.34 between first and joint third. And we are under a minute away now from the restart. And Ester Ledecka, the 28-year-old Czech athlete, multi-discipline athlete, will next to tackle the Zauchensee downhill course this morning.
40 seconds.
Ester Ledecka has 3 World Cup wins on her speed skis to her name, 2 in downhill, 1 in Super G. Her most recent win came 2 seasons ago in Crans-Montana. She didn't make an appearance on the World Cup Alpine skiing tour last year after she was busy nursing and fixing a badly broken collarbone, and she was absent as well at the start of the new campaign, but she's back in business now, racing on her skis and on her parallel GS and parallel slalom snowboard. You may remember the big story of the 2018 Olympic Winter Games in Pyeongchang when Ledecka won not only in snowboarding but also won a gold in the Alpine Skiing Women's Super G when she came and conquered with bib number 26 when an awful lot of networks had already switched to other sports for their focus. Ledecka was the heroine of Czech sport for months and years, and in fact still is, and is back and racing, having fixed that broken collarbone.
Oh, it's great to see her back. She's just a little bit out of shape on the top section, though. The line was not quite right, and she had to work underneath the gate quite a lot, putting a lot of pressure on that outside ski, and just taking a little bit of time to, quite understandably, to get back into this downhill. And now through this middle section, no problems at all of finding that tuck. She's incredibly gutsy, but just a fraction too hard on the outside ski. Hence you see her just slipping deeper into the red. Hard edge check there, has to reset the line, and not quite got the same speed as the top woman.
Got a quote from Mirjam Puchner, who still holds joint third. It's the second best Austrian because they've got second and joint third. Puchner said, I was at the absolute limit and you need to be here. I wasn't sure how I'd go because I made mistakes, but it was fast. I love the snow here. I was told it would be cool to ski, and that's exactly what happened. It was really cool to ski. But let's get into 17th position. And a quote from Priska Nufer as well, who's in 9th position from Switzerland. She said, on this course, you really feel it if you are producing a bad performance. You can't hide it. And I never really got a great feeling on the skis, even if the result, which is a top 10 at the moment, isn't that bad. Hopefully we'll get some words from Sofia Goggia before too long as well. And there, happy to see that Kaiser Vickhoff Lie is engaging in conversation with Ragnhild Mowinckel. Now, Marta Bassino is next to go. Had a bit of a change last week with her ski man leading and a replacement coming in. The same happened for Sofia Goggia. There was a bit of a shake-up within the Italian Federation, but it worked for Bassino because she posted 5th position in yesterday's Super G on this hill, tackling the downhill. She doesn't always race the downhill competitions, but deciding to have a go today.
Just getting a bit more speed under your belt. We know that Bassino is an incredible Super G skier and, of course, a giant slalom skier. But sometimes skiing this higher speed discipline of downhill, that will help and translate across to the Super G and GS. I always believe if you ski a discipline up with the speed, then it helps your own discipline because nothing is too fast. I was a slalom skier. I used to train a lot of giant slalom, race some giant slalom, not at World Cup level, but it certainly helped my slalom. And it's very, very beneficial, and I believe that's why Bassino is out there getting a little bit of the downhill speed under her belt.
Marta Bassino looking for... Oh no, she's not going to be getting much success today. 3.76 off the pace, bib number 21. It's hard to see now who could possibly come through and challenge Sofia Goggia for leadership of this race. Marta Bassino down in 19th position, and that makes her the slowest of the finishers so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure that anyone can challenge Goggia, to be honest. It really was a spectacular run. She took risks. It was exciting.
Sofia Goggia, emotional with her team at the foot of the course. Big day for her, first downhill win of the season. Stephanie Jenal is next to go for Switzerland, starting with bib number 22. I've got a quote now from Connie Huetter, yesterday's winner, who said at the bottom of the course, it was all in the pit of my stomach. I had to digest all the emotions of my win yesterday. Today, I understand what happened. I had all those thoughts of yesterday's win and what I had to go through in my ski life. Didn't sleep well last night, didn't sleep at all. Enjoyed yesterday so much, and I think as a result I didn't ski well today and wasn't a good day. As we watch Stephanie Jenal on the top of the Zauchensee downhill course.
Yeah, the emotions of that win are just huge, and that just makes you realise the likes of Odermatt and Schifrin, who go out day in, day out and win. It's just amazing, isn't it, to be able to take each win, move forward, and not get overly excited that it then affects you. You can't sleep at night, you can't prepare for the next day, but just take it in their stride and then go on. It's really outstanding. Yeah, Jenal just getting pushed off the ideal line. You could see her skiing many meters further than the ideal line.
Stephanie Jenal off the Zielsprung, down into the finish area in Zauchensee, where there's just a little pocket of sunshine left on this part of the mountain, and Jenal finishes her downhill run safely. So let's get a check on the standings. Reminder of how this race has unfolded. It's been a cracking competition so far. An emotional Sofia Goggia on the cusp of winning her first downhill of the season, with Stephanie Venier second. Late start for Venier with bib 17. Her teammate Mirjam Puchner in joint third with Nicole Dago. Then Kira Weidle, followed by Lara Gut-Behrami, Michelle Gisin, Gauche, Priska Nufer and Jasmine Flury. Big day for us here on Eurosport. Our coverage of the Men's Alpine World Cup reaches one of the highlights of the season. Ed Drake, Marcel Matisse will be getting ready to bring you coverage of the full-length Lauberhorn. We had a dress rehearsal with a shorter race, minute and 45 on Thursday, and a Super G yesterday, and we send our best wishes to Alexei Pantarov for a quick recovery after his horrible crash. And today, it's the full-length Lauberhorn. 2.5 minutes of leg-burning Lauberhorn high-speed action to enjoy as part of our fantastic package of winter sports across this weekend.
Yeah, and if you want to imagine what that feels like, 2.5 minutes, get yourself up against the wall, sit with your knees at 90 degrees, and then get somebody to bounce the floor underneath you. I mean, it is absolutely horrendous.
Welcome back to viewers on Eurosport TV. We are under 30 seconds away from the restart of this third women's downhill of the World Cup season, the first of 2024. Sofia Goggia leads, Stephanie Venier second, Puchner and Dago tied for third. Next to ski, Christina Ager from Austria, who will be worth watching because she had one of the best times in Thursday's training. Posted the 9th fastest time in the only practice run. Comes hurtling down the start. The Starchers bringing them into this section of gates, past the reserve downhill start and then into the Gamsveld, approaching the Super G start, and that will bring them towards the first of a selection of spectacular jumps on this course. Coming up shortly, it's called the Hot Air. The Hot Air jump, the first serious flight on this Kettleblock course. Hot Air dealt with nicely by Christina Ager. Then a couple of sweeping turns before she gets to one of the biggest jumps on the course, the Jägersprung, where some have had trouble here today. Coming up right now, the Jägersprung.
No problem at all for Ager. Heavy landing though, and it takes such commitment. You're really coming up to that, off that flat and up to that massive jump, and you've really got to get those hands either underneath your legs, so some of the skiers tuck them underneath the thighs, other ones push those hands down to the feet. Whatever you do, you've got to try to land in the middle of the skis. As soon as you land a little bit back, or as soon as you open up the chest, you're really living dangerously. Ager 1.78 back. You can see, look, she's very upright, the head upright, arms out to the side. That's just a telltale sign that she's not so confident through this middle section.
1:33.87 at the next split for Sofia Goggia compared to Christina Ager's time, which is a difference of 2.28 seconds. Sofia Goggia getting closer to securing her first downhill win of the season as Christina Ager goes into 18th spot, well supported by the Austrian fans. There's Mikael Valkoffer, former downhill world champion, who's from Altenmarkt, just down the road. It's part of the organising committee, I think, here for Altenmarkt. You live near here. Emma, do you ever bump into Mikael Valkoffer?
No, I haven't actually seen him since I stopped racing, but we went to school together. We were at school
that's
in
right,
Schladming.
in Schladming, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not far away from here at all. I live about 40 minutes from Altenmarkt, not far at all, about sort of 20 minutes the other side, that's to the east, you get to Schladming.
Candy Marino's next to go for Andorra. We've got a 2-minute starting interval now, so we'll find them out of the start recorded and then pick them up at around 40 seconds down the course. Big season, of course, for Andorra. Andorran skiing with their first World Cup podium. Joan Verdu getting on the Val d'Isère giant slalom podium just before Christmas. The first time an Andorran skier had ever been on a World Cup podium. Massive milestone for Andorran skiing.
That's great, isn't it? All these smaller nations, more not quite unheard of nations, but certainly not the nations that are expected, with AJ Guinness last year winning for Greece, and then, as you just mentioned, Joan Verdu for Andorra. Very exciting. Oh, and that was close. I think she's missed the gate.
Missed the safety netting, thankfully. She could have hooked a ski tip into that safety netting, and that would have been very nasty. A bit of a scare here for Candy Marino, but happily she got away with it.
Yeah, she was very long in the air, and you could see she was heading very quickly to the safety netting on the right, and then she found herself very quickly heading to the safety netting on the left. It's quite narrow here in relative terms for downhill, and things, when they go wrong, things come at you very quickly.
And we've got a shot there of Nicole Dago, who's currently joint third. Here is her sister, Nadia, getting ready to race. Nadia, the younger of the two sisters, the oldest sister in provisional joint third position. Here comes Nadia Dago, the Olympic bronze medalist in 2022. Behind Corinne Suter, who got the gold, Sofia Goggia, who got the silver, and then Nadia Dago making it 2 out of 3 medals for the Italians, holding third position. But her downhill form so far this season has been disappointing.
Yeah, and heavy and late in the line there. And you can see just that drone angle gave you that good view of the snow moving around. So it's very firm underfoot, but then you've just got a little bit of soft snow, and that's quite tricky because the wind picks it up, and momentarily you can't quite see what's happening underfoot. And Dago off that jump beautifully, no problems. A little bit heavy, you could hear that sound as she landed quite hard on the landing. It's better to try to land softly and then take that speed onto the flat. You can see her poles not quite horizontal as she tucks them around her body, but a little bit up with the back of the poles and a little bit too low with the hands.
Nadia Dago getting bounced around on the lower half, having to fight against the camber of the course, gravity which is working against her body. Keeps herself within a second of the lead. We could get both Dago sisters in the top 10 here if Nadia can just hold on and not let this deficit grow. 1.83, yes, I think that's unlikely now, with the top 10 separated by 1.17 seconds. So it will be the older sister with bragging rights today as Nadia comes across the line into 17th position.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent top section, but then she just looked like she got a little bit of a scare as she came over that sort of fall away on the right foot, and then had to recover quickly, and then didn't seem to, this is the part I'm talking about, she sort of had a little bit of a scare there, had to recover, did well to stay on her feet and not get pushed too far in the back seat, but after that she didn't seem to get into the flow. She was a little bit too upright for the final section of the course.
We have a total of 50 starters lined up for this downhill this morning, and it's a welcome back to downhill racing for Romain Mirodoli, who comes from Flaine in the French Alps, who's been out for a while with an injury. She's been struggling to get back onto form. She's had a couple of Super G outings, including one yesterday when she finished in 26th position. She was 18th in the Val d'Isère Super G as well, but ruptured her anterior cruciate ligament late last season, and it's been a steady return to racing for Romain Mirodoli, who's the most recent winner of a speed event within the French team. She won the Lenzerheide Super G back in 2022.
Well, it's great to see her back racing again, and she'll just be taking these runs. Remember, we've only had one training run, and every training run would help her just gain a little bit more confidence. Don't expect to see her coming right in at the top today, but great to see her back and just building that confidence after that horrible accident.
2.5 seconds off the pace now. It's a work in progress for Romain Mirodoli. The French starting to find a bit of talent in the technical disciplines as well. Chiara Pogno got her first top 10 in the Kranjska slalom. So she is one to watch out for in the future, as Roman Miradoli skis into 22nd position. Laura Gauche, the best of the French today, still holding a good position. She started early with bib 4 and sits in 8th position. Ariana Redler for Austria, 27 her start number, had a 6th position in yesterday's Super G. Really good start to the weekend of racing for Ariana Redler, the 28-year-old. Can she back it up now on downhill day?
Well, 5th in training 2 days ago, and it's an excellent top section. Very, very clean on the outside ski, not putting them sideways at all, looking very confident. She's got quite a narrow tuck position. You can see the feet a little bit narrower than a lot of the skiers, but it's gutsy, it's strong, good off that jump, no problem so far.
7th in the Val d'Isère downhill, Ariana Redler. And best in sector number 2. The Austrians have sprung a couple of big surprises so far. Stephanie Vietnier going into 2nd with bib 17. Mirjam Puchner holds joint 3rd with bib 13. Can they get another reason to celebrate? Can Ariana Redler back up yesterday's top 10 result with something even better in this Saturday downhill? Shaping up nicely here, 0.44 off the pace, and with the top 5 separated by about that amount, this one could go right to the wire for Ariana Redler. There's a lot of expectation on the bottom part of the course. Next split time, still right in there, 0.52, and there's 0.62 separating the top 6. The Austrians looking for some more red and white at the top of the leaderboard. Redler is 7th. 0.64, cracking result again for Ariana Redler. Red and white flags across the leaderboard. In 2nd, joint 3rd, and now 7th.
Oh, I couldn't have faulted the line there. She really did nail it, top to bottom, didn't put a foot wrong. Incredible skiing, very gutsy, very, very clean as well. That was beautiful. Look, she comes over with the right line. I think that was the best we've seen through there. Even better than Goggia. Very clean, very smooth.
Couple of cracking days for Ariana Redler so far, and another chance to come with another Super G on Sunday. Next to go, Delia Jura from Switzerland, starting with number 28. One of the youngsters, 21 years old. Off she goes.
That shot just shows how quickly they excel. Oh, it's amazing. I mean, she's at the bottom, plunges down that steep, and she's right at the bottom before you can blink.
0.58 off the pace. Delia Jura travelling well so far. Best of the Swiss, still Lara Gut-Behrami, twice a winner here in the past, holding 6th position today. Delia Jura within a 2nd of the lead at intermediate number 3.
Oh, and she's much harder though on the landings. You can really see, and you can hear the skis, can't you? Listen carefully, and you can hear them just getting bounced around a little bit, just juddering. This course in fantastic shape, but if you're a little bit hard, it just bounces sideways slightly. The legs have to work like pistons, like shock absorbers underneath to make sure that you're soft and subtle on the snow.
Goggia's leading time, 1 minute 46.47 seconds. Delia Jura 1.64 seconds behind. 18th position. Decent enough result for one of the younger members of the Swiss team.
Oh, that's a cracking shot, but I think that's where she was just a little bit direct here. Flailing the arms, desperately trying to get that snow contact. If you're in the air, there's nothing you can do about the line, so you've got to get on the snow as quickly as possible.
Emma Ager next to go for Germany. And, well, let's watch, because Emma Ager has had an interesting season so far. A season of breakthroughs for the 20-year-old German. Had her, she's living dangerously, and down she goes. And Emma Ager gets a taste of the safety netting. One ski was already off by the time she piled in there. There's movement, and she's clearly conscious and getting back to her knees. Well, mixed fortunes for Emma Ager so far this season. That's 6th place in the San Moritz downhill, then a 10th in Val d'Isère in Super G. She made the second run of a World Cup giant slalom for the first time, and then I think it was in Lienz. She straddled the first run of a slalom, and today she's ended her race early, and she has hit the safety netting, but I think and I hope that she will just get her breathing back and she'll be okay. The early signs are certainly promising.
Yeah, that jump, wow, it's so big, and let's see, well, yeah, she's got the wrong line completely, and then really flailing in the air, and she's really opened up in the chest, so she lands on the back. Oh, that ski's come off quickly. That was good. That's what you want. You want the binding to release quickly.
They all hate it. We all hate it. Downhill crashes are the worst.
I remember when I was young watching Ski Sunday, and they used to show all the crashes, and I used to think, why are you showing them? Because I wanted to be a ski racer, and that was the last thing I wanted to see, but I know a lot of the public like it. Oh, it's good. She's standing, and she looks shaken up, but she's okay.
Could always tell, couldn't you, when there was a name you'd never heard of wearing number 57, Fritz somebody or other, coming down, that there was a crash coming. That was the way it worked on a Sunday afternoon. So Emma Ager's okay. There's a hole in part of the safety netting there. Don't know if there's a section which will need to be replaced. But meanwhile, as we've had the first 29 down the hill, we've got our podium placed athletes, and there are 2 Italians and 2 Austrians. The reason we have 4 is that there's a tie for third between Mirjam Puchner on the right, wearing the red jacket, and to her left, Nicole Dago, as the German coach skis off to accompany Emma Ager down to the bottom of the course. Oh, it's a cold morning. The wind just adding to the wind chill factor this morning, but lots of fresh snow in the early part of January. Conditions across much of the Alps are superb right now. I was lucky enough to be skiing yesterday, and it was fantastic. Although I have to say, I crashed. Yeah, you're mad. What happened? Were you showing off? Yeah, I was showing off, I have to say. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Don't show off. Comes to bite you on the bum. No damage done. Yeah, really fantastic conditions across the Alps. So absolutely, like you said, just beautiful. Bit of fresh snow last week. Just freshened it all up. Sofia Goggia edging towards her first downhill win of the season. She's had a Super G success. This will be her first downhill win. Stephanie Venier only a 1/10 of a second behind. So close to making it the Austrian double, with Connie Hutter winning on Friday. Stephanie Venier literally inches away from snatching the win from Sofia Goggia, but she will settle for second, and a tie for third with Mirjam Puchner and Nicole Dago on She's only won once in her career. The racer starting next with bib number 30, and it was here in Zauchensee back in 2017 that Christine Schei, in January, exactly 7 years ago, Christine Schei got her one and only World Cup win. Let's see if the course is lucky again for Christine Schei. who's been given the 1 minute warning before her start now.
Real windy at the top, and it's already -7, -8, so with that wind chill as well, it's really freezing.
79th World Cup start for Christine Scheier. 1 win. Then she had a podium a couple of seasons ago at the World Cup finals in Courchevel. Bitterly cold at the top. And they're down to their thin race suits now. Not much protection against the warmth, against the cold. Wind is whistling. Sounds like the start of a horror movie up there, doesn't it? Christine Scheier having to hold herself, to brace herself against the headwind that she's about to launch into. Number 30, Christine Scheier, on her way on the track where she's had her one and only World Cup success. But that was 7 years ago. Drone still flying, drone still able to negotiate or be controlled despite the wind, which eases off the further they get down the track.
I was just thinking exactly that, wondering how it was still able to fly. Oh, and there you see a lot of snow spraying up as she comes through here. Clean though, clean through that section. Just 0.31, opens up, living dangerously off the jump. Loves this track. Good in the aerodynamic position, nice and low, body horizontal to the snow.
Coming to the Jägersprung. Clock makes good reading for the Austrian coaches so far for Christine Scheier. 0.75, it's still a respectable performance.
Ever so slightly high in the tuck. Look at the upper body, just a fraction too high. Got to really search for the position as much as she can if she wants to do any damage at the top.
Just over a second off the pace now. And with the top 10 separated by all the ones, 1.11 seconds. She can't afford any more mistakes if she's to register her first top 10 of the season.
It's been a good run, but it's a little bit hesitant through here. I don't think she's going to sneak into the top 10.
1.5 seconds off the pace now. Lower speed trap registering 114, just shy of 115 kilometers per hour. Christine Scheier goes 19th. Lots of generous support from the Austrian fans. Not a bad result, starting with bib number 30 to break the top 20. But again, not what she wanted, not what she came for.
It's 115 kilometres an hour. Marta was at a FIS race in a GS the other day. We were doing 101 in a giant slalom.
Wow, goodness me.
That was crazy.
Another Austrian now, making only her third World Cup start at the age of 23. This is Emily Schöpf. She was 35th in the Val d'Isère downhill, yet to score World Cup points. 1.93. Little hesitant at the top for Emily Schöpf, but will have very little experience. This will be only the second time she's skied this course in Ager.
Well, and we know that downhill is all about getting experience because the tracks don't actually change. The course setting doesn't change massively. So every time they come to the resort and ski the track, they get to know it a little bit better. So she's just looking to gain a little bit more experience, become more comfortable with the track, with the jumps, with the rollers, and take it forward to next time.
Emily Schöpf, in her first ever outing in Zauchensee, skis into 25th position. So in 90 seconds or so, we'll be departing with our Eurosport TV coverage from Zauchensee to head over to Wengen to join Ed Drake and Marcel Matisse for coverage of the full-length Lauberhorn. Big day in the Swiss sporting calendar. And Ed and Marcel will be guiding you through all the action over the 2.5 minutes of the Lauberhorn leg burner. That will be coming up. We're going to stay another 60 seconds here in Zauchensee. If you want to keep watching the Zauchensee coverage, if there are athletes amongst the next 17 or 18 who are due to race that you want to see, then you can carry on covering this race, watching this race on Discovery Plus. Connie Huetter joining in the celebrations. Yesterday's winner, supporting her teammates who have excelled themselves today. Second, joint third and seventh for the home nation racers today. Ed and Marcel waiting in the wings to bring you coverage of a race I know you won't want to miss. The Lauberhorn men's downhill is next. Emma and I will be back for coverage of the Zauchensee Super G on Sunday. Stay tuned on Discovery Plus or switch to Wengen now. .32, Sabrina Maier on the track now. Now, Sabrina had the 10th fastest time in training on Thursday. Let's see if she can back that up on race day now.
Well, we pick her up quite far down the course, so we can't say too much, apart from looking at the splits on the top, which were very reasonable, just 1.32 now the wrong side. And she too has to make a little adjustment as she lands off that fall away. Not so clean on the right ski. You can see the snow coming up off the outside. Comes through onto this left footer, which is just getting a little bit bumpy, especially if you're on the late line, it's a little bit bumpy.
1.75 seconds off the pace. Sabrina Maier into 20th position. Not quite as promising as her training performance on Thursday.
She'll take that forward. Scored points, take that one forward, learn from the video. Oh, that's a stunning shot, isn't it? She came off that and landed on the left ski, ideally landing on that right ski, but because it's such a fall away, it's really awkward. Nice to see the Austrian coaches cheering for a change.
Elena Muafaria from Bosnia-Herzegovina. Herzegovina is next on the course. She's had some improving results in the last couple of seasons. Had a good performance in Val d'Isère in Super G on the 17th of December, where she placed 18th. Oh, no, that isn't. I beg your pardon. It's Lena Varna, who we're watching now from. Oh, no, it's not. The computer is saying Lena Varna, but the graphic on your screen is saying Elena Muafaria. And I think it is the Bosnian we're still watching, because that is not the Austrian colours worn by Lena Varna. It's Muafaria, who's into 28th position.
Not happy with that, shakes her head.
Now this is Lena Varna. Starting intervals just 75 seconds now. Slightly delayed with our coverage. Lena Varna on the track.
Good, clean, strong turns. And she too dropping. Got light, dropped about 4 meters further off to the right. Very clean, but a little upright. Difficult there, falls away to the left. The legs are burning, it's bumpy on the left foot. Working those legs underneath her like pistons, trying to keep that snow contact.
Lena Varna into 26th position. So potentially World Cup points today for Lena Varna. Monica Zanona from Italy goes next. We'll find her at the minute mark. Emma, you've had some success with your family and friends coaching team this week. Tell us about that.
Well, those giant slaloms, Matt, that we went to, my goodness, they were more like Super Gs, and we don't really do that much Super G, so it was great training, actually. But yeah, 101 kilometres an hour clocked in that giant slalom. That's pretty quick for a GS, but very exciting. Yeah, the boys are going well, and I'm actually just preparing now to go off with Zach, one of the twins, to the Youth Olympics in South Korea. We head over on Monday.
And he'll be racing slalom there?
He'll be racing everything, actually, Matt.
Right.
He's going to do the Super G, that's first, and then Super G combined. He's very good in slalom, so he's looking forward to that one. And then the giant slalom and the slalom, and also Molly Butler,